Hey everyone, Stan Haller here with VectorVest Canada. In this short video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to master ETF bull and bear pairs using VectorVest performance graphs. I really believe combining opposite ETFs in this way is a powerful method for tracking and navigating market and sector movements and trends. Here is a performance graph in a time frame display showing the 1-year daily movement of HNU, the bullish ETF for natural gas, 2 times leveraged, and then HND, the bearish ETF, in red. So they're opposite pairs. They're on the same graph. Here's a 1-year look, and you can see the HND, the bearish ETF, has performed extremely well over the year, more than 400%. The right edge is the percent gain or loss, and the HNU has pretty much gone down or flatlined at the bottom of the graph. When we move to a 6-month, and this is sort of the routine that I go through, I start with the longer term time frame, the 1 year, then I'll go to the 6-month daily time frame, and you can see the HNU, the bullish ETF, did make up some ground here, but then did fall fairly sharply starting in early November. So we would have switched to the 3-month time frame, and then we could see the crossover of HND, the bearish ETF, above HNU, the bullish, and HND rose about 100% from November 7th when that crossover occurred. Now there was some sideways action prior to that move. If we went to the 1-month graph and looked for that crossover, it happened on November 16th, and HND bear ETF rallied about 80% from there. So it's a very effective way to hedge. With a bearish ETF, for example, you can hedge your entire portfolio, or you can simply move into these ETFs once you see a trend establishing itself and profit from trend. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up these dynamic performance graphs with bull and bear ETF pairs. It'll help you with a clear picture of market shifts to guide your entries and exits. And these are some of the ETFs that I follow on a daily basis. Very simple once you've set them up and saved them in your performance graph layout. You can go through these ETFs for Canada and the US in just minutes and see which trends are dominating. So again, visually tracking the movements and trends of opposite bull and bear ETFs can be a powerful trading plan. So just before we start, there is risk in investing, especially when you're investing in 2 times and 3 times leveraged ETFs. You really need to make sure you understand what you are investing in, and everything you will see in here today is for educational purposes only, should never be considered as investment advice. The information is designed to empower you to make your own investment decisions, and these decisions are yours and yours alone to make. So let's go into the program and see how to do this. So here, when I bring it down to the screen, is VectorVest US. We'll start there. And the setup is the same for the US market and the Canadian market. The ETFs are going to be different, of course. So from the home page, typically that's our starting point. We go to the Graphs tab, just left click on the top toolbar under Graphs, and it opens up the performance graph. And this is the default layout. Over here you see the graph layouts at the right, and VectorVest performance layout is what we see. So from here, I can go into a layout that I've already set up. For example, if I to look at the Dow, for example, this is a 3 times leveraged set pairs of UDOW and SDOW. so tracking the Dow Jones. And typically we start with a 1 year, get a view for how it's been progressing, and then we can go to 6 months. You can see I'm clicking on the date icons in the bottom right of our program, makes it really quick to go through. And now we can see in December the Dow starting to rally. We go to the 3 month, there's our crossover, even though we could see the trend already developing, and so we are certainly ready. Even by this point, we're ready to move into the bullish ETF. That was on November 9th, but we do get the crossover on November 15th and a strong rally from there. If I can go to the 1 month icon, so now it's looking at that performance percent gain at the right edge taken from the starting point, which was back here on November 13th. So 1 month look back period. Dow ETF up at the top, so a bullish ETF, and it's up about 25 points from there. So we know that that's a very strong trend. I can use my mouse on the arrows over here at the bottom right to tighten it up even more if I like. There's a 3-day, for example, now. Spring it out a little bit. There's an 18-day, so I can use that toolbar as well. All right, so that's a look at the performance graph. Let's see how we set up an ETF pair so that you can do this yourself with your favorite ETFs, the opposite bull and bear ETFs that you want to follow. So we go back up to the top of our list here under the layouts to load. The VectorVest performance graph is our starting point. And let's just, as an example, we'll use a 1 times leveraged opposite pair. We'll go with the SPY. Everybody knows about the SPY, the S&P 500, and the short is SH, so ProShares short on the 500 SPY, S&P 500. So we'll type in those two symbols, click on enter, drops them down to the bottom of our menu. I'll just close up the graph layouts there, and I'll check the SPY and SH, just left clicking in those areas. I'll take off the VectorVest composite. We can see it on there, and I'll actually right click and remove the item. So now I've got the SPY and for the long side and SH for the short side, and I just need to right click and change the style. So I'm going to make it a medium thickness of a line, and for my long ETFs I always want to go to the green color, click on OK. There we go, and I'll right click for SH, change the style, medium line thickness, make it red for bearish, and now we're set up very nicely here. And again, 6 months, you can see where the crossover occurred at about November 13th. I mean, I can come to the date calendar and just bring the date up to November 13th. And we can see that from that crossover, we're up just over 6%, almost 7% on the SPY from there. So a very quick way to track the momentum and trend of an index in this case, or a sector, or a commodity. Once we have our performance graph set up the way we want to see it, we would just simply click on graph layouts again, now come to save and modify layouts, left click, opens up our drop down menu, and I want to add this new layout, so I'll left click in this box, and here I'll just type in the information, and I suggest you start with a prefix like pairs in this case. This will group all of your opposite bull and bear ETFs together, make them easier to find. So we're going to go with the SPY and SH for shorting, and I'll just make a note, it's the 1 times S&P 500. So that'll be our naming convention. I need to put in test because I already have this one. I want to remove it later. and I'll click OK. And now that's saved my performance layout for that opposite pair of ETFs with the colors and the line thickness. I don't have to set that up again. So this works the same Canada and the US. Here's, for example, a commodity for crude oil, 2 times leveraged. You can see crude is really falling back pretty sharply. So again, it identifies an opportunity for hedging or profiting from these trends. Here's gold, for example, very easy to follow. It's the 1 month. If I go to 3 months, the picture is a little bit more cloudy. There was certainly a trend beginning on November 20th, and it lasted until December 1st. So, for example, if I change my date calendar, November 20th to December, what did I say, 1st? There we go. Click on that. And we certainly had a strong rally there that was up over 20% after that crossover. So we've shown you how to add a new pair to your graph layouts, and then once you've got them all under the group of pairs, you can go through and check out all the ones that are of interest to you. Typically you start with the 1 year and just keep bringing it down to 6 months, 3 months, and even 1 month. And you can even go 5 days if you have real time, but this is a 1 month view. Very clear picture of where this market is going. This is the micro technology, for example. Financial start to make a move, so you can see FAS and FAZ making a move. So really easy way to track performance of these sectors and indexes. So we'll look at Canada, just show you that very quickly. Bring this down. So I showed you the example of natural gas. So from our graphs panel, we'll just left click on the menu over at the top left, come down to the performance graph. And again, it opens with our default VectorVest composite for Canada. And layouts, it opens all the pairs that I have created and saved with a description. Here's the TSX 60, for example. And starting with a 6 month, and we can go down to the 3 month, get a little different perspective on things. And let's just go to the natural gas. There's crude, there's natural gas. So I've saved that layout. And just a little bit of a pullback on the bearish ETF in the last day, but overall a very strong trend beginning back here on November 7th. So the way you can set up your multi-time frames, now I've shown you how I do it. I like to just go from 1 year using the quick date buttons, go down to 6 months, 3 months, and then 1 month to get the most recent picture. But you can also left click here and go to the time frame feature. So it's got HNU, which is the performance graph that I was looking at. And we just click on 1 year, for example. And then we come down here, switch to the performance graph, go to graph layouts, find HNU again. There we go. And then we go to 6 months on that one. Performance, go to HNU. I think this is going to be helpful to a lot of people, so I'm taking my time to show you how to set this up. So this one we're going to go to 3 months, and then finally we go performance, graph layouts. We're going to find HNU again. Screen resolution makes this a little bit more challenging than usual, but there we go, HNU. And I'll just click on the quick date, 1 month. So I've got all 4 time frames, and when I click here in the fill mode, up at the top left, just to the right of performance, that's the fill mode, and we've got a very clear setup for looking at 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, and 1 month. All right, so those are some of the ETF pairs that I like to follow. Now you can follow them too and add your own, create and save them just the way I've done here. I think, I know you're going to find it helpful. I know I do with your trading decisions and your tracking of the markets. So I hope you found the video useful. And if you like what you've seen in the video, please do click on the like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. And if you're new to VectorVest, we have a special holiday offer. You can try VectorVest for 30 days for just 99 cents. That's US money. But call 1-888-658-7638 to get started. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a great holidays.